Minnesota at Iowa. I mean, one of the better rivalries in the Midwest over there. Gosh, 8.5 points? I get that it's at Kinnick. All right, but dude, have we not been watching this rivalry for the last decade? Like in some of the scores and the outcomes in the very low scoring games that we've seen? Dude, this has like field goal game written all over it. Of course, got to worry about the health of Darius Taylor. Drake Lindsey's been fantastic. Dare I say, Minnesota in this game has a quarterback advantage. I mean, that hasn't stopped them necessarily from losing this game lots of times, but they're playing significantly better defense than one they played at the beginning of the year, two than what I expected from them at all this year, especially with Heatherman getting out of there. The departures of Justin Wally. Uh, it's come from places that I didn't necessarily expect. And then Iowa here, like you're feeling pretty good about Gronowski, at quarterback. Like he's doing some things with his legs, that some of your other Iowa quarterbacks have not been able to do the last couple years. Boy, this is a pretty intense game. This is a pretty intense matchup here.
Absolutely. Yeah, first of all, huge rivalry game. Maybe, the winner of this game is not probably going to go on to, win the Big Ten, but both these teams only have one loss, in the Big Ten. Very, very still much in line to climb the Big Ten. That's big time in bowl standings and bowl records, and also the pick, right? Floyd Rosedale. What else do you want to ask for? Of course, in this game, you talked about the spread being 8.5 for picking it at. In the last 10 years, outside of the 2020 COVID game, which is just a weird year in general, only two of the games have been outside of that, 8.5 or 8 point margin, so over a touchdown. So it's going to be a close one. It really is. It's going to depend on who takes care of the football. What are the weird bounces of the football? Keystone plays, man. Keystone plays. How many times there's like a big play here, a big play there, maybe one in each half is going to dictate the outcome of this game. You talked about the quarterbacks, Drake Lindsey and Gronowski. I think both these teams and these fan bases were hyping up their respective quarterbacks. I think outside looking in, a lot of people are like, shh, hush, 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 hush. We don't really believe you until we see it. And they've played, I think, about as good as you can ask for, considering where they come from, whether it being a young Drake Lindsey or Gronowski battling injuries in camp as well as coming up from the FCS. So it's going to be really fun. Of course, the coaching staffs, of course, the play styles, of course, running the football, and of course, Kinnick Stadium, man. It's going to be so awesome. It's the 2:30 window. So you'll have, it'll be close to dark in that fourth quarter. And man, nighttime in Kinnick is a tough place to play if you're Minnesota. And normally here, I'll be honest, I'm a Minnesota guy. I hate doing this, is picking them to cover, but 8.5 seems like a ton. And what I will say, Greg Harbaugh, the offensive coordinator for Minnesota, has been in his absolute bag. It seems like all year they've come out with good scripted drives. They've come out and responded in second halves after adjusting. Drake Lindsey and him seem to have a lot of trust and faith in each other. It'll be about separation of those wide receivers. And of course, for Minnesota, it will start and end with Darius Taylor. If he is healthy, if he is running the ball as hard and as physical as he ran last Friday night against Nebraska, they absolutely have a chance to win this football game. And also on the defense side of the ball, John Nestor, a player that Iowa is very familiar with, an Iowa transfer, a very uncommon transfer between the two programs. Obviously, it's happened before, but this is a big one. Nestor's been one of the better cornerbacks in the Big Ten, and he was banged up last week. Does he play for you this week? Iowa's gotten a little bit more healthy offensively. Reese Vanderzee, getting Gronowski kind of involved, getting his legs going, and they've moved the football more and more. It seems like as they're going on in Big Ten play, they gave Indiana the toughest time that they could just a couple weeks ago in the same stadium they'll be playing Minnesota in. A lot of fun, man. What more can you ask for? I'll take Minnesota plus 8.5. Am I crazy to do that?
No, I'm with you right there. I do think Iowa wins this game, though.
Yeah.
It's Yeah. It is very Iowa to win this game. It's very Iowa to win this game by less than one score. It's very Iowa to win this game at home. Although I think the Cooper Jean touchdown callback, that was in Kinnick, right?
It was in Kinnick.
So, I mean,
but
dude,
again, they
should
have won that game anyway.
Yeah, Iowa still should have won that game. Yeah, gotta love those rules, right? But Iowa, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how each of these teams decides to move the ball. Like you said, Darius Taylor being a question mark, like Iowa, will they be able to run the football as well as they have been able to these last couple weeks? Will they be able to do it with their plethora of running backs, with Gronowski in his legs? I don't know. Can they force Drake Lindsay into one of those redshirt freshman turnovers, right? That you see sometimes from guys, and
him too. He's made some bad throws.
Yeah, but man, boy, is he talented or what? Man, is he the most talented quarterback in terms of talent? I'm not talking about tenure, legacy, right? Is he the most talented quarterback that Minnesota's ever had, at least in the last 20 years?
I think there's a real conversation for that to be had. I think Ethan Calicmanis in Minnesota, close your ears, right, Minnesota fans. He actually is a really, really talented quarterback. And here's the delusion setting in from years of waiting for him. But we saw that too. And Iowa knows that too. Not when he was in Minnesota uniform, but just a month ago, Rutgers was shredding Iowa. I mean, Calicmanis had over 300 yards. Now they have the receivers, Ian Strong, Duff, Sheffield. They got some dogs there in that receiving core that I don't think Minnesota has to take advantage of. Maybe a little bit more weaker secondary than we've been accustomed to seeing Phil Parker have. But about Drake Lindsay, yeah, he is the truth, man. He is the truth. Has struggled on the road, though.